Welcome to Manifest Hub TV, where we share stories of resilience, inspiration, and personal growth. We have a very special guest. I'm so excited and so honored to be in her presence.
And turn their losses into gains. Dreamers become legends when they refuse to quit. Every empire started small.
So this young lady, she has been in Canada for some time, Ontario, Canada, and she came here from Trinidad originally, which is a really great country, and you're going to hear more about it soon.
She's done some pretty amazing things.
One of them is becoming an RN, which is a registered nurse. As well, she has developed her own AI academy. And I'm so excited to introduce to you Miss Eslin Thomas. Miss Thomas,
Thank you.
how are you?
Hello, hello, hello. I am
Hello.
wonderful. I'm wonderful. Thank you so much.
My
Thank you so
pleasure.
much for having me. I am honestly blessed and privileged and super excited to be here. As you mentioned, my journey has definitely been unconventional, but I'm really happy again to be here and to share my journey with everyone today. Starting off in nursing, then joining infection control, and now building my own AI education company that's really going to help people simplify their lives and help businesses as well to use AI in practical ways. Those are really the things that drive me and motivate me these days. And I'm really looking forward to sharing more about that. So thank you again for having me.
My pleasure. I am so excited, as I said, and I'm
Super excited for everybody to hear your story.
really caught my attention for sure. So, Miss Thomas, before we get into it, obviously, I would love for the audience to get to know who you are, where you came from. Can you tell me a little bit about Trinidad and your early memories of Trinidad before you came here?
Of course, I'd be happy to. So, yes, I was born in Trinidad, and honestly, some of my best memories are about the sense of community and togetherness. I remember when we were growing up, the neighbors would help you with anything. My dad had a shop, which is the equivalent to a corner store here. And sometimes he would leave some money with the neighbor and say something like, this vendor is going to come by. Please buy this much of bread for me or buy this many, whatever product it is that he wanted to purchase. My dad would leave the money with the neighbor and he would go off to a different city or several cities away and not come back until the end of the day. But the neighbor was trusted to actually run the business while he was gone. And even today, my mom still talks about the fact that when she had us, the neighbors, the women in the area would come by and help her cook, help her wash, help her clean, help her take care of us even. And so it's those memories that I remember, that sense of togetherness, that sense of compassion, that sense of community that I remember the most, and I believe that's shaped the person who I've become today.
Wow, that is amazing. And you know what? I feel like going to Trinidad now. This is so amazing. I
You
love that
definitely should.
story.
We should plan a trip.
We should definitely plan a
Thank
trip,
you.
girl. How did you end up in nursing?
To be honest, I have always wanted to help people from a very young age. So my dad was diabetic and we lived in the country.
We also had a lot of farm animals.
Goats, cows, chickens, you name it. And so my dad would spend a lot of time in the forest, taking care of the animals and stuff like that. And unfortunately, he would also get a lot of cuts and scrapes and bruises, a lot of injuries because he was diabetic. It would not heal necessarily very well. And so he would then need to make a trip to the clinic and they would give him medication to do the dressings until they come again in about 2 weeks. And so I began to do the dressings for my dad at a very young age. And honestly, it felt natural to me. I wanted to do that. And so when I looked at a career, something in healthcare just felt the most meaningful to me. I actually wanted to become a doctor, but when I moved here and became a nurse, I just, it felt like home. It just felt like that's what I was meant to do. And so I stayed in nursing and I haven't regretted one day so far. Yeah,
I
what kept me in it over the years?
uh-huh.
Um, just knowing that even the smallest actions can make a huge difference in a patient's life. Sometimes it's not all about the big things, but for patients, sometimes it's the really, really small things, just explaining something clearly to them so they understand. Sometimes it's just bringing them some water or some juice in the middle of the night. Those are the really small things that make a huge difference in a patient's experience. And so for me, that's very rewarding and I really enjoy being able to take care of my patients.
I love that. We are blessed to have lots of amazing nurses, right? Especially during the pandemic, that's when
Yep,
you were hearing a lot about people appreciating nurses so much. And I really do appreciate
right.
you guys, to the point that whenever I was pregnant with my children, I insisted that it had to be
Mhm.
nurses and midwives. Like I connect better, and I'm pretty sure people in the audience can relate, right? And they connect better as
Right.
well. Now, tell me about your transition into AI. I heard you mention infection control. Now, for me,
Mhm.
when I hear that, it sounds scary, okay? And I know it's probably not that, but can you just explain a little bit about infection control before we go into AI?
Sure, sure. So infection control, and I think infection control came to the forefront during the pandemic. People really saw what it was or understood it better because infection control helps to prevent people from getting infections, infectious agents, basically. So we are the ones that provide the education or policies and protocols in terms of how people can protect themselves against certain infectious agents. The most common, I guess you could say, is something like influenza. We would make sure that everyone in the hospital, so healthcare staff, visitors as well, that they know what type of precautions they need to use in order to protect themselves when they are looking after a patient who is influenza positive or who has symptoms that may be something infectious, because a lot of times we need to wait at least 24 to 48 hours to get the results back. So the infection control team, every patient that enters the emerge department, right up until they are discharged, will actually follow those patients and make sure that we identify anything infectious at the beginning of their entry to the hospital. And then we follow them throughout their journey in the event that they develop something while in hospital, which is possible. So we basically say, okay, you need to wear a mask, you need to wear a gown, you need to wear gloves at this time for this patient. Or for this patient, you need only to wear a gown and gloves. So that's basically the easiest way I can simplify it. And just to compare, a lot of people get it confused with infectious disease. Now, infectious disease is actually the physicians who recommend the right antibiotics to treat an infection. Infection control does not do any type of treatment. Infection control is actually infection prevention and control. So the prevention is actually the biggest part of what we do because we actually recommend things that prevent harm before it happens. And honestly, that work is usually invisible because if, for example, an outbreak never occurs or there's never transmission, then most people don't see all the work happening behind the scenes. But that's the kind of work that actually protects our patients. It protects the families, and of course, it protects the healthcare teams. So that's the work that we do.
Amazing. And you know what? I can sit down and listen to this forever. Fun fact, I did want to become a nurse, but I bailed a quarter way through because it was so hard. I didn't know how you do it.
That's okay.
Anyways, moving on. I'm very curious, and I'm sure others are curious too. You're building an AI company.
Mhm.
Tell us about your AI company. Tell us what issues you're solving for entrepreneurs or companies.
For me, I started the AI company because I realized that a lot of people were actually overwhelmed when it came to AI. There's so much out there, there's something new coming out every day. I wanted to just make AI feel simple and practical so that people can feel empowered instead of being so overwhelmed. And so I started the company. It's called the Clarity Effect Academy. And it helps people, so businesses, if you have a business, or if you are a busy professional, especially like us, who are entrepreneurs, we're moms, I help remove the complexity and simplify how AI can support you and your business in real time.
Can you give me like an example? I did try to figure out one of your systems and I was very impressed. And it was relating to MedSpa, I think. I think that was your client. Can you
Yes.
tell me like what you did for MedSpa?
Absolutely. So I built a front end system for a med spa. Now, this front end system basically takes care of all the admin work. And again, it's not about replacing humans, it's about supporting humans so that it reduces the overwhelm. And it frees up humans that actually do more effective work, the things that AI can't do. So this front end system answered calls. It actually answered all the questions that the client has. It can then lead them into booking a call specifically for the type of appointment that they want. So at med spas, they offer many different services. This system would actually be able to explain any of the services and products offered by the med spa and then book the client in for an appointment on the med spa's calendar and then send follow-up reminders and confirmation after that call. So that system is actually quite robust. And so that's one of the things that I currently do with AI. I build front-end systems that are tailored to the specific business because every business will look or operate slightly differently. And so it starts off with a one-on-one call, and we that way I can get to learn the business and what makes your business unique. And then we build the system to match your unique business.
I remember it being like really cool because it actually set the appointment. And I was like, whoa, this is so crazy.
Yes, there's
But
some pretty robust systems out there that can really provide really great support.
exactly. Now, obviously, with entrepreneurship can be amazing because there's a lot of freedom. You don't have to ask
Mhm.
your boss, when can I leave or when can I take a vacation, and so on and so forth. However, with entrepreneurship, it takes resilience, it takes a special type of character. So, knowing that, can you tell me what are the challenges that you face and what are the best rewards with your current entrepreneurship journey?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges is building something brand new while still managing and balancing a very demanding healthcare career and real life responsibilities of being a mom. So, you look at it online, sometimes entrepreneurship looks very glamorous online, but behind the scenes, that everyday work that needs to be done, it requires consistency, it requires emotional resilience, it requires discipline and of course, learning constantly. And the last one is actually the most important because you're going to need to learn and offer yourself a lot of grace to learn as you build and grow and evolve with your business. Of course, there are moments where you will question yourself. There are moments where things will feel uncertain. But I've learned that clarity often comes through movement, not waiting until everything feels perfect. So it's really about taking those simple everyday steps to keep moving forward. Take that one step every day. Don't stop. That's what I keep reminding myself every day, just to keep going because Murphy's Law is a real thing. It's real. And when it rains, it pours is actually a very true saying. We have to make sure that we learn how to adapt and adjust. So just again, just balancing a demanding career with real life responsibilities while trying to learn and grow and build the business. That's really the most challenging.
This is amazing. You being a mom, being an entrepreneur, working, it just shows your character. Not just about anybody can do that. Most people are not able to reach that far. If somebody wanted to start their own Clarity Effect or something like that, do you have like a franchising in place or any type of business model to help people start their own AI agency?
I have thought about it. I don't have it officially set up yet, but that
Okay.
is one of the things that will be coming in the near future.
That's exciting. Well, when you do, let me know. Miss Thomas, can you tell me if you had to think back, what made you decide, let me go into AI and why? Why? What was your why?
My why was a very personal one. I actually started AI because of my daughter. So, as most parents, we tend to think about how we can best support our children. And a little over a year ago, I started just reflecting deeply on the kind of life I wanted to build for my daughter and how I could best support her through her life as she grows. And honestly, it suddenly hit me that she would be growing up in the age of AI. And that realization actually stopped me in my tracks because I was never a really technical person. I never really focused much on technology, but I really had a true desire to make sure that I supported my daughter as best as possible so she could become the best version of herself. And so once I realized that AI was going to be very important, then I became curious. I started learning, I started experimenting, started asking some questions. And the more I explored AI, the more I realized that, hey, this technology could actually help a lot of people because I realized that it can help reclaim time. It can help people communicate better. It can help you do so many things. So that's when I decided, you know what? As I'm learning this, I can actually provide education and help people to learn how to use AI better. Because again, I saw the overwhelm. The more that I delved into it, I realized that there were so many people that were just overwhelmed by AI, not knowing or understanding where to turn, what to do, how to use it, when to use it. So that's what made me decide to go down that path. I'm a certified AI consultant, CPD certified. And that's really important for me because being CPD certified means that there's constant learning. So my clients and customers never have to worry about whether I am giving them the most up-to-date information or not, because we remain on top of the latest developments in AI. So the technologies and the strategies that we are recommending will always be the best when it comes to AI.
That is amazing. If I wasn't sold, I'm definitely sold now.
If used in the right way, if applied in the right way, it can really be something very beneficial.
We did mention entrepreneurship earlier. Lots of people going into entrepreneurship. It's a mass
Yep.
movement. If somebody were to decide, I want to go into entrepreneurship, but I'm scared, what would you say to them?
I would tell them that fear is normal. Most people think that confidence comes first, but actually, it's action that comes first. You have to start by taking that little first step. You will do it while you're afraid, but you have to do it in order to be able to take the next step and take another step. And as you continue to take steps, your confidence grows. But if you stay where you are, if you stay afraid and you never take any steps, you never take any action, then you will remain stuck and you won't be able to accomplish the great things that you are meant to accomplish. You don't need to have it all figured out, just get started. We have a community, and one of the sayings in this community is it doesn't have to be perfect to make profit. And honestly, the first day I heard that, it stuck with me. It doesn't have to be perfect to make profit because sometimes I used to spend a lot of time trying to tweak and fine tune and, font here doesn't look good or it didn't spell this word correctly. But I see a lot of things online where it's not perfect. And that's really what we keep at the forefront. And that's what I would suggest. If anyone wants to start a business, especially in AI, remember, it doesn't have to be perfect to make profit. Do the best you can and just keep going.
That's so profound that you said that because I started my channel, Manifest Hub TV, maybe a little over a year, okay? And at first it was scary. It was scary. And sometimes I look
Yep.
back at my videos and it's so cringe. But I knew it wasn't perfect. But you have to get over your fear because if you don't get over your fear, you will never get better. You just
Right.
have to push in. I love the way you put it because entrepreneurship is a journey. You certainly don't have to be perfect in the beginning. And Grant Cardone is a perfect example of that. I remember listening to this man and he taught me that. And I'm so glad he taught me that because of that one thing he said that it doesn't have to be perfect, my mind opened. And anything I
Right.
decided to do after that, it was like, okay, it's not perfect. That's okay. I'm still going to do it. Maybe somebody
Exactly.
give me feedback, and based on the feedback, I'll make it better next time. So you just have to
There
start.
you go.
And just like Nike said, just do it.
And look at where you are now, a year later. I'm sure when
Exactly.
you look back, you can see so much growth. And
Yes.
that's the important thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
To ensure that you're taking the necessary steps every day, and
Yeah.
you'll just continue to grow.
We just have to do it. What's life if you don't take chances and you don't go through failures before you do something that's like, wow. At the end of the day, we just have to keep pushing. And now, because I just kept believing in myself, I have things to be proud of, just like you have amazing things to be proud of because you just kept pushing. You didn't think too much about the possible failure part. Before we go, I still want to ask you though, if you had one last piece of advice for somebody who's watching this,
Mhm.
who's thinking, is entrepreneurship right for me?
I would say it's similar to what I said before, but
Mm-hmm.
do not underestimate the power of starting small, but
Yeah,
staying consistent.
awesome.
Start small, but stay consistent. Because it's like, if you think about it, one drop into a bucket a day, it might seem like nothing. But if there's a drop every hour, when you look back, 72 hours, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, that bucket starts filling up. And
Mm-hmm.
it's from one drop every hour.
Exactly.
So start small.
Mm-hmm.
Just take that one little step, but stay consistent. Because if you
Yeah.
do 10 drops a day, and then for the next 10 days, there's nothing, then it's like you're starting all over again.
Mm-hmm.
So the key is consistency, and that's how you see real transformation. It doesn't happen in one big moment. Most of the time, it happens through small decisions repeated over and over and over again. And sometimes it's going to feel unfamiliar. It's going to feel uncomfortable when you're just getting started. But that's usually actually the beginning of the life that you were meant to build. So get started, stay consistent, do it scared, do it scared.
Great,
I have a
scared.
lot of people that stand up to do webinars and stuff, and they're like, you know what? Like, I'm scared. I've never done this before. I'm afraid,
Yeah.
but they're doing it.
We've covered everything. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. So honored.
It's honestly
If
my
this,
pleasure.
thank you. If somebody's seen this and they know a superwoman or superman, somebody who has an amazing story to share, feel free to contact me. If somebody is here and they're seeing this and they had to try to reach out to you, maybe for them to get systems for their business, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Absolutely. So they can reach me on my business page. It's the Clarity Effect Academy on Facebook. They can also email me at info@the Clarity Effect, and I will certainly get back to them as soon
Awesome.
as possible. But I look forward
Okay.
to them reaching out. If you have any questions about how AI can be helpful in your business, I'd love to connect with you. Or if you just even have questions about how to use AI in real life, whether it's to help your kids with homework or to help meal prep and meal plan for the week. I used it yesterday actually to figure out how to do a garden in my backyard because I have this huge garden and not sure what would be the best to plant, especially considering it's late May. And it gave me like a perfect picture with recommendations and explanations, everything. It's really there to just help you to simplify your life.
Thank you so much again. We're going to connect soon, of course. Appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
Appreciate the viewers as well,
Good.
everybody who's watching. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for sharing and thank you for being here.
Thank you.